Anyway, so Shamond, tell us about how you got started in dance.
So how I got dance, it's 2021. I started dancing around 2008 in sixth grade at West Brad Middle School. It all started when I just started seeing movies like Stomp the Yard and like You Got Served. And there was just an after school breakdancing club that I happened to hear about. And I was like, there's no way I could pass this up. And the first day I went, it was just drill, like drill, 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 drill. It felt like boot camp almost, but it definitely helped, my fundamentals and my foundation and helped me just build overall. And it was just overall a great experience. I'll never regret it.
Okay, and where was that? Where did you go up?
Well, West Bryan Middle School in Houston.
Oh, in Houston. Okay, and that's where you are now, correct?
Sir.
Shamond actually took classes from one of our directors, Chris Cortez, as a youth. So it's funny that, he came full circle from elementary school working in Chris's after school program, Houston Health Hip Hop after school program. And then, years later came back to be a part of Fly,
That's great. Are you acquainted with Sabian Glover's dancing?
Excuse me?
Sabian Glover, you know his dancing?
Absolutely, Savion Glover, sure, for sure. Gregory Hines.
Right, all these guys are just great. I mean, I don't know a tenth of what Shirley knows, but I know about Sabian Glover, and he's really quite astounding. So how did the company actually come together? I mean, such unbelievable dancers. Let me just mention again that Fly was our guest at Severance Hall in our last concert, and they just made an unbelievable impression. So tell us about how the company came together.
Fly was founded by Kathy Wood. She was a retired school teacher. She was at a street festival here in Houston called the West Summer Street Festival. And she was just looking around. She saw some performers, so she gravitated towards that. She taught dance in schools, and she was a dance educator for over 35 years. So she's walking around and just looking, and then she sees a group of guys walk. One of the guys, she was just amazed by the movement, commented on his dreadlocks, and they began to have a conversation. She found out later that they didn't have a place to rehearse. And this was in 93. So she started working with the guys in 93. And after that group of gentlemen decided to kind of go on a different way, she continued to work with them and established Fly in 1995. And she put these street dancers in tuxedos with tails. They had these big baggy pants and these dreadlocks and this long hair and everything. And she put them on this concert, an adjudicated concert. And they ended up getting the finale a piece. And that was where, she just took it by storm. And fast forward 25 years later, we're here and just super excited because she's still of us and she still works with us. She's the artistic director, and it's just it's been an amazing experience seeing. We were actually in her after school program. We were in her small dance group, the younger version of Fly, since its inception in 1995, and me and Chris kind of ended up in the 99 version of Fly. We're like the third generation Fly. So and so now we're just kind of doing the same thing, opening those doors for them like she did with us.
Do me a favor and tell them how she would take her, if you didn't show up for rehearsals, how she would drive over and pick you guys up.
Yeah, it was something in the early years, just being young and, immature, right? And she'd give us a time to be somewhere. And of course we would be there with 20 minutes late, 30 minutes late. And so she would give us like a 30 minutes before when we had to show up. So she knew, okay, she had a little wiggle room. Once we would kind of like, some of us started coming late, she would actually pick us up and we'd pile in this van, legs and feet everywhere. And, 10 of us or all 7 of us or whoever made it that day. And she'd pick us up and we'd go to her place, she had a studio, makeshift studio in her house. And so it was her and her husband, and she would give us sandwiches and cookies. And, you put food out there, dancers are going to show up, so we would sit there like, who's this? We're eating cookies and eating sandwiches and dancing and stuff. And she was just very, very, very kind to us, from the jump. She never saw us for anything other than who we were. And she allowed us to be who we were and just really opened her doors to us and taught us a lot.
Well, Shamond, tell us what it's like. You rehearse in the studio, you're on the street. And now if all of a sudden you're in front of a 60-piece symphony orchestra.
Definitely a drastic change to get used to, and definitely something I had to adapt. But it was definitely an exciting experience, like just hearing like all the pieces and instruments that I'm able to just connect myself with and just be able to connect to the audience with. Like, it was an outstanding experience. So whether it's out in the backyard or whether it's out in like a parking lot, like as long as like that beat hits, then like that's all you need to give me.
Well, the amazing thing about the group that I just blew me away is you wrote to me, you said, well, can you suggest some stuff that you play that might work? So I sent about 20 potential pieces. You picked out about 10 and you adapted your dance to us. And I guess you have some new repertoire too that you didn't have before.
Absolutely. With the symphonies this few years, I think we have over 35 pieces of classical music that we can dance to now. You know,
well, I'm very proud that we were part of that experience.
Absolutely. And you know, this has been a dream of Kathy's since the early years, you know, and being able to connect with Randy Chaplin and being able to for him to give us that opportunity, and then for you guys to believe in us so early on and allow us to perform. And now, you know, being able to collaborate with many other symphonies, you are just opening the door to us. But not only that, you're inspiring the youth that these kids from these urban cities, these kids that have this dream, that Kathy Wood, with all her years of maybe one day, you know, we can perform with the symphony. And, you know, it's realistically, will we ever do it? We don't know. But now you know, we spoke it into existence. We believed in it for over 20 years. And because of the hard work of Kathy and her husband, Mike Wood, in the early years, and then the new directors and owners now, Chris Cortez and Adam Quiroz, who we put every dollar, every cent, the guys that would come through fly, and all our hard work with Shamond and the boys, just like not giving up on us, and just like the hard times and everything we just went through with COVID, you know, and for us to be still be here, and the fact that we have such a great relation with you guys. Again, thank you so much for continuing to believe.
It was our pleasure, and thank you for coming into the School of the Arts as well and working with the young high school students. I mean, that was surely inspirational to them. They were huffing and puffing after working out with you, I'll tell you. It was really quite something to view. And you're to be congratulated for all your amazing work.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it for that.
For real.
Great. Well, we will get through what's going on now, and we will resume performances as soon as we possibly can. And just like to take a moment to thank you both for spending time with us, and wish you only the best as you go forward.
And tell Kathy thank you for what she started, because she's a very special lady. And thank you, and thank all the guys, and give them a hug from me.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Bye-bye.
Awesome.